The Panama Canal. It's a 50-mile stretch of engineering genius, a marvel of human ingenuity and determination. This waterway connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, creating a vital link that has transformed global trade routes. For over a century, it's been a lifeline of global trade, allowing ships to bypass the lengthy and treacherous route around the southern tip of South America. But the canal's history is a turbulent one, marked by immense challenges and geopolitical struggles. It's a story of ambition, colonialism, and a struggle for sovereignty. Construction began in 1904, under the auspices of the United States. The United States, hungry for a shortcut between its coasts, took control of the project after a failed attempt by the French. The project was a Herculean effort, involving the excavation of millions of cubic yards of earth and the construction of massive locks. Thousands of workers battled disease, including malaria and yellow fever, and treacherous terrain to bring this vision to life. The canal finally opened in 1914, a monumental achievement that forever changed maritime navigation. It was a triumph, but one shadowed by the United States' heavy hand as they maintained control over the canal and its surrounding zone. For decades, the U.S. controlled the Panama Canal Zone, a point of contention and a symbol of foreign dominance. It was a point of contention, sparking protests and a growing desire among Panamanians for control over their own land and destiny. Panamanians yearned for control of their own destiny, a sentiment that grew stronger with each passing year. Finally, in 1977, the Torrijos-Carter treaties offered a path forward, promising the eventual transfer of the canal to Panama. These landmark agreements set the stage for the canal's handover to Panama, a process that would take over 2 decades to complete. On December 31, 1999, a momentous event unfolded, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter for Panama. The Panama Canal, once a symbol of U.S. dominance, was officially returned to Panama, a proud moment for the nation. It was a day for celebration, a testament to Panama's hard-won independence and the resilience of its people. But as we'll see, the story doesn't end there. The canal continues to evolve, facing new challenges and opportunities in the 21st century. Fast forward to the present day. The canal is once again at the heart of an international controversy. This vital waterway, which has been a cornerstone of global trade for over a century, is now the focal point of renewed geopolitical tensions. The reason? The U.S. military is back. After years of absence, American troops have returned to Panamanian soil, stirring memories of past conflicts and raising new questions about the future. Under a new joint deal, U.S. troops have been deployed to Panama. This agreement, which was signed with much fanfare, promises to enhance security and cooperation between the two nations. They're here for training and exercises according to official statements. These activities are said to be crucial for maintaining readiness and strengthening the capabilities of both U.S. and Panamanian forces. The details of this agreement are murky. While some aspects have been made public, much of the deal remains shrouded in secrecy, leading to speculation and concern among various stakeholders. It's shrouded in the language of diplomacy and national security. Officials from both countries have emphasized the strategic importance of this partnership, but have been tight-lipped about the specifics. What we do know is that U.S. troops are once again present on Panamanian soil. Their presence is a stark reminder of the complex history between the two nations. They're operating out of bases that were once symbols of U.S. power. These sites, which have been dormant for years, are now buzzing with activity once more, and this has ignited a firestorm of debate. In Panama, opinions are sharply divided. Some see the U.S. presence as a necessary measure for security, while others view it as an infringement on national sovereignty. Is this a necessary measure to protect U.S. interests? Proponents argue that the strategic location of the canal makes it imperative for the U.S. to maintain a presence in the region. Or is it a blatant violation of Panama's sovereignty? Critics contend that this move undermines Panama's autonomy and could lead to increased tensions in the region. These are the questions swirling around this new deployment. As the situation unfolds, the world watches closely, aware that the implications of this deal extend far beyond the borders of Panama, and to understand the complexities, we need to hear from both sides of the canal. Only by listening to the voices of those directly affected can we begin to grasp the true impact of this new deal. The United States insists that this is not a military occupation. They emphasize that their presence in Panama is purely for strategic and cooperative purposes. The U.S. government has repeatedly stated that their troops are stationed there to ensure the safety and security of the region, particularly the Panama Canal, which is a vital international waterway. They argue that the troops are there for training purposes. These training exercises are designed to enhance the capabilities of both U.S. and Panamanian forces, ensuring that they are well prepared to handle any potential threats. The U.S. military conducts regular drills and joint operations with Panamanian forces to foster a sense of camaraderie and mutual understanding, and to help Panama protect the canal. The Panama Canal is a crucial artery for global trade, and its security is paramount. The U.S. presence is meant to deter any threats that could disrupt the flow of commerce through this vital passage. The collaboration between the two nations aims to ensure that the canal remains open and secure for international shipping. They point to the growing influence of China in the region. China's increasing economic and political presence in Latin America has raised concerns among U.S. policymakers. They believe that a strong U.S. presence in Panama is necessary to counterbalance China's ambitions and to maintain a strategic foothold in the region. They say that the U.S. must counter this influence to protect its interests. The U.S. government argues that their presence in Panama is a proactive measure to safeguard their geopolitical interests and to ensure that the region remains stable and free from undue influence by other major powers. The Panamanian government, for its part, is walking a tightrope. They are trying to balance the demands of their citizens with the strategic interests of their powerful ally. The government must navigate the complex dynamics of international relations while ensuring that their sovereignty is respected. They're trying to reassure their citizens while also maintaining a good relationship with the United States. The Panamanian leadership is keenly aware of the public sentiment and the need to address the concerns of their people. They are working to communicate the benefits of the U.S. presence while also emphasizing their commitment to national sovereignty. They claim that the agreement respects Panama's sovereignty. The Panamanian government has assured its citizens that the terms of the agreement with the U.S. are designed to uphold Panama's independence and autonomy. They emphasize that the partnership is based on mutual respect and shared goals. They say it's simply a matter of cooperation between two friendly nations. The Panamanian and U.S. governments present their military collaboration as a symbol of their strong bilateral relationship. They highlight the benefits of working together to address common security challenges and to promote regional stability. But not everyone is buying it. Despite the official assurances, there is significant opposition within Panama. Many Panamanians are skeptical of the true intentions behind the U.S. military presence and fear that it may lead to a loss of national control over their own affairs. The opposition in Panama is crying foul. Political leaders and activists are vocal in their criticism, arguing that the agreement with the U.S. undermines Panama's sovereignty. They are calling for greater transparency and accountability from their government. They see this as a blatant power grab by the United States. The opposition views the U.S. presence as an attempt to exert control over Panama's strategic assets and to influence its political landscape. They are demanding that the government take a firmer stance against foreign intervention. They argue that it violates Panama's neutrality and undermines its hard-won independence. The opposition believes that the agreement with the U.S. compromises Panama's neutral status and threatens the sovereignty that the country fought hard to achieve. They are calling for a re-evaluation of the terms of the agreement, and they're not alone in their concerns. Many ordinary Panamanians share these fears and are worried about the long-term implications of the U.S. military presence. Public debates and discussions are ongoing, with citizens expressing their hopes and anxieties about the future of their nation. To understand the current situation, we need to rewind the clock to 1989. That's when the United States launched Operation Just Cause, a full-scale invasion of Panama. The stated goal was to remove Manuel Noriega, Panama's dictator, who was accused of drug trafficking and human rights abuses. The invasion was a lightning strike. U.S. troops quickly overwhelmed Panamanian forces. Noriega was captured and flown to the United States to stand trial, but the invasion left deep scars on Panama. Thousands of Panamanians were killed or injured, entire neighborhoods were destroyed. The legacy of Operation Just Cause still looms large in Panama. It's a reminder of the United States' willingness to use force to achieve its objectives, and it's fueling the anger and suspicion surrounding the current deployment of U.S. troops. Section 5. A global stage. China takes note. This isn't just a bilateral issue between the United States and Panama, it's playing out on a global stage, with China watching closely. China has become a major player in Panama in recent years. They've invested heavily in the country, building ports and infrastructure. The United States views China's growing influence with suspicion. They see it as a threat to their own economic and strategic interests. The deployment of U.S. troops to Panama is seen by some as a way to counter China's growing presence in the region. China, for its part, has criticized the U.S. deployment. They've called on both countries to respect Panama's sovereignty and neutrality. The situation highlights the growing rivalry between the United States and China, a rivalry that's playing out in countries around the world. Section 6. The Panamanian street echoes with dissent. Back in Panama, the mood is tense. Public opinion is sharply divided. Protests have erupted in the streets. People are angry. They feel like their country is being used as a pawn in a geopolitical game. Some Panamanians support the US presence. They argue that it's necessary to protect the canal and to counter the threat from China. They say that the US is a reliable ally, and that Panama benefits from close ties with Washington. But many others are deeply opposed to the US deployment. They see it as a betrayal of Panama's sovereignty. They fear that it will lead to more US intervention in their country's affairs. They're demanding that the government stand up to the United States and defend Panama's right to determine its own destiny. Section 7. Protecting interests or projecting power. So what's the answer? Is the US presence in Panama a necessary measure to protect its interests, or is it an infringement on Panama's sovereignty? There are no easy answers. It's a complex issue with valid arguments on both sides. The United States has legitimate security concerns in the region. The Panama Canal is a vital waterway for global trade, and the growing influence of China in the region is a cause for concern for US policymakers. But Panama also has a right to its own sovereignty. The country has a long history of being dominated by outside powers, and many Panamanians are wary of any move that could be seen as a return to that past. Section 8. A canal at a crossroads. The Panama Canal, once a symbol of US engineering might, is now a symbol of the complex challenges facing the world today. It's a crossroads where great power rivalry, national sovereignty, and economic interests collide. The decisions made in Panama will have far-reaching consequences. They will shape the relationship between the United States and Panama for years to come, and they will send a message to the rest of the world about the balance of power in the 21st century. Section 9. The last word, a delicate balancing act. The situation in Panama is a delicate balancing act. The United States must balance its security interests with respect for Panama's sovereignty. Panama, in turn, must balance its relationship with the United States with its desire for independence and its growing ties with China. Finding the right balance will not be easy. It will require diplomacy, compromise, and a willingness to listen to all sides. The stakes are high. The future of Panama and perhaps the region hangs in the balance.